Mrs. Oswald, were you watching?
No, I wasn't.
Where were you when your son was killed?
I was with my daughter-in-law, Marina, at the Executive Inn, and just about 15 minutes before the terrible tragedy, I said to Marina, honey, let's turn the television off, and I turned it off myself, and so we didn't see the actual killing of my son.
You saw the films then later?
I saw it for the first time this past Sunday.
What did you think as you saw that picture of Ruby approaching toward your son with a gun in his hand?
Well, I was prepared for it because for the past 10 months I have investigated in just every lead and everything there was. And the reporters had told me repeatedly that they had never seen such an astonished look on any man's face as my son. And then Sunday I heard him say, the president? Who said anything about a president? And so this was important to hear him say this.
No matter what kind of preparation you had, could anything prepare you for seeing a scene like that? Certainly you must have felt something.
Yes, of course I did. I immediately went to the screen, and I went as close to the screen as I possibly could because I wanted to catch every word that my son said. I had asked the officials to show me this picture because this would have helped me in my immediate investigation, but I was denied that privilege. So this was the very first time, and of course, I didn't even know that particular film was going to come on. And immediately when I realized that Lee was leaving the detective's office, as I said, I went as close to the picture as I possibly could. And I saw the protection that he had. He was wide open. The men were on either side of him, and there was no one in front of him at all. And then, of course, I saw Jack Ruby shoot my son.
You're certain, Mrs. Oswald, that your son could not have killed the president and could not have killed Patrolman Tippett?
Well, my investigation shows nothing other than that Lee was a patsy, and this is a frame-up. I don't say I'm right.
Who's framing him, Mrs. Oswald?
Well, I wished I had the time to go into the complete story, and you must understand that there's many, many aspects to this case. Who framed Lee Harvey Oswald? I have stated from the very beginning, after being kept in protective custody for 6 days, where we were not allowed to see anyone. In other words, we were also deprived of an attorney, and the newspapers were running wild with stories, anything they wanted to say. The family was kept in protective custody.
Will you someday tell this story of who framed Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yes, I have told it, and I started to say now that my investigation shows that our trouble is in our State Department, that there are a few men in our State Department who wanted President Kennedy out of the way. I'm a very unpopular person.
Do you really believe this, Mrs. Oswald?
It isn't that I believe this. It is because I think I have circumstantial evidence to back me up.
What evidence do you have?
Well, I have documents that are not explanatory. I went before the commission with my documents, and the one in particular they were supposed to inform me about, and they didn't. And, well, it's just really too much to try to understand the impact of all of this.
Mrs. Oswald, do you accept or feel any guilt at all for what has happened to your son?
No, I don't. And this is the deplorable part of the report of the president. The president's report on the assassination is that Lee was a misfit and that I didn't give him the emotional need that he needed.
But the Warren Commission report says guilty.